system will log you out so you can log in again. And so we click on login. We'll type in a password, email address, and then log in. So once you log in, it takes you to the settings side so that you can sort of set up your account. Now, there are lots of things that goes in here. As a branch, you would have to set up some things for it. I mean, if you go to settings, you will see different things to set up. There we have configurations, message template, bank accounts, coffers, currencies, regions, and all those things. Now, as you use the system will help you to set up all these information. So first, what you need to do first is to click on the add button here, and then you add a currency, and then it requires a local currency. A local currency is that because it's an accounting system, in a case where you input some amount, monetary amount, the system should know which currency you are putting it into. So you can set up multiple currencies. So since I'm in Ghana, I'll be using Ghana cedis. And then the currency symbol that I want to use is GHS. You can go with GSC or you can go with the actual symbol of the currency, anyhow you want it. I'll go with this. And because this is a local currency, the conversion rate is 1. So it means that whatever amount that I type in there is that amount. So we use 1. And then it's a local currency, so I'm going to check this box. And if I like, I can put in other information. So I'm going to click on save. So there's a save button at the bottom. There's also the same save button at the top. So any of them will do. So I'll go with this one. So as I click, it gives me a notification on the top that I've added a new currency successfully. And it lists the currency here. So currently, as you can see, I only have one currency record here. Now, I can use these action buttons on the right side to delete the currency, edit, or even view. In this case, when you click on view, it's the same as you trying to edit it. So if I click on this, it opens, and then I can do, as you can see the heading here, you have edit. You can edit, view, or do whatsoever. So you can choose to update, or in this case, since I didn't make any changes, I'll just click back here, and then it loads the currencies page for me. And like I mentioned earlier, there is a breadcrumb on the top side that shows you exactly where you are. Now, when you see this yellow button in the currency section, it means that this currency is a local currency. So you can choose to add more currencies to it, but it will depend on what your church actually accepts. If your church only accepts the local currency, then you're better off having this one there. But most churches accept different currencies. Even though Ghana cedis in this instance is my local currency, I can also add other currencies to it. So I'll go through the same process and then add another currency. So I'll just say this is a US dollar. US dollar, and I'll use the symbol US dollar sign. And let's just say the current rate that we have to convert US dollar to our local currency, which we've already set up. We're going to use, let's just say 5.1. And because this is not a local currency, I don't have to check this. So I'm going to click on save. And then it adds another currency. Now, like I said, you will see an orange icon, money icon, on the symbol that is the local currency. So this one shows that it's a local currency. Now let's just make an attempt to add another currency and let's see what's happened. Another local currency and let's see what's happened. So let's just say I'm going to call this euro, okay, and I'll use a symbol EU. You can find the actual symbol that you want to use, and I give it, let's say, 6 conversion rate, and I check this one as a local currency, and I click on save. It tells me a local currency is already set, or a local currency is set already. So you cannot have more than one local currency. Only one local currencies, but you can have multiple foreign currencies, which is this type of currencies. So that's fine. We have 2 currencies in here. We can move on with that. Now, there are other settings. If you click on settings, it's going to give you the basic settings that you need. So for instance, you remember when you were creating the church branch record and the super user, you typed in some branch information. Those basic information will be listed here. You can also add the church logo if you want to. So in a case where the church has changed their address, some few things, even their name, you can come in here and then change as well. And the name that you set up is the one that is going to show on the top here. Now, we have encrypt PDF report. Now, when we go to the report section, you'd realize that you can export your reports into Excel and PDF. Now, when you are exporting into PDF, you can choose to encrypt the data or lock the PDF. Now, whilst locking it, you would need a password to do that so that you can unlock it later. So here is where you set those passwords, the password for PDF encryption. Automatically, the system is going to generate one for you, but when you click on this button, you can generate a new one for yourself. Now, when you generate a new one, previously generated PDFs will not use this new password. It will use the old password. So keep in mind. Then we have parental access, we have children access, global reporting, membership reports. So these are settings that pertains to reports, and we'll touch base on that. But then essentially, or briefly, when you choose allow parents to see reports, it means that if you have a sub branch and the sub branch chooses allow parents to see reports, the parent branch can view your reports from wherever they are. And as a parent branch, if you don't want your child branch to also see your report, you can also use this settings here to do that. And you have global reporting. It's for you to get entire reports for a specific branch. I mean, if you want to view all the children branches, their reports as a goal. For instance, if you are generating an income statement and you want to consider all children branches as part of the statement generation, it's going to be decided from this particular drop down. So that is it. And we have configurations. Configurations has to do with configuring your system to understand certain things. For instance, if you are generating a report, how many decimal places is it okay for you to use? You can set that here. You can set up a fiscal year, start year. So when does your church's fiscal year start, or financial year start? In terms of month, you can select from here. And then we have enforce bank tracking. So that's another feature for accounting. If let's say if you want to track exactly what is happening in your specific branch which we will talk about, bank, sorry, your specific bank, which we'll talk about here. You can use this one to toggle that. And then we have messaging endpoint. These are endpoints that you can use if you don't want to use Ecclesia's basic, not basic, as in their official SMS and email endpoint that will set up for you. And then you have maybe your own mail server and WhatsApp endpoint, and SMS as well. You can use this one to set it up. So that means that anytime you send an SMS or a message, it goes through the appropriate endpoint, the route to send it to. And then we have template. Template has to do with when you want to send a message, how do you want the message to go? So for instance, typed message, SMS message template is sent to members who have paid their tithe. So typically there could be a message like thank you, let's say name, and then comma, maybe your tithe of let's say amount is received. God bless you. Okay. So this message is structured such that, if you are talking about a template, it means that the system will replace the whoever's tithe we are talking about with the person's name. It's going to put the amount there and send this message specifically to the recipient whose name is here. So it means that as you are capturing tithe, you're also informing tithe payers that you give them an acknowledged SMS, to tell them that, okay, this amount that you've paid for your tithe has been received. So it's going to conform to the message templates that you have. The same applies to email. So you're going to have to put an email template in there. And then by default, EMS will come with default template. The same applies to welfare and this as well. So these templates applies to SMS and emails only for now. And then we have bank account. Now if you go to bank account, here's where you set up all the banks that you as a branch deal with. And remember, these actions are now being done by the super user, because the super user has full control of everything that is happening in this account. It's the super user's responsibility to add new branches if they want. The super user can do everything, can add new users as well, and then give those users roles to do what and what not to do. And so these banks, I'm going to just put in some data just so we can be fast. But remember that we created currencies, and the currencies that we created will be listed here. So for instance, let's just say this bank, Dorothy Kane, as a bank name, as the account name, the account that we have in there. Let me just be putting this so that it will be more practical. Okay, so let's just say this is the account name, and we know it's a US dollar account, so we're gonna have to choose that. An account cannot run multiple currencies. No, it has to be one currency. So if you have the same account that runs multiple currency, you would have to create for both currencies. And then you can put the account number if you want, and this does not is not an actual reflection of a correct bank account number. This is just for, it's hypothetical for training purposes, and you can put some other information here if you want, and you click on save, and then it saves it. After it's saved, just like what we saw on the currency section, it will be listed here. So you can add multiple accounts if you want. And in this case, I'm going to do the Ghana cedis, and I'll call this branch A, GHS for Ghana cedis. I'm going to save that. So we have 2 bank accounts here. Now there are instances where you keep money on you for miscellaneous purposes, those that we normally call petty cash. So you can create this one as petty cash. Petty cash account should be created here because money that is not literally in the bank but it's with you. So you're going to treat that as though it's also a bank, but it isn't. I'm going to do an add, and I'll put in some figures. Maybe we will call this one petty cash. If you have multiple petty cash, you can create them here with their various names there. I don't need location. Again, the currency is US dollars. And then I'll click on save. So that is created. Okay, so that is created. This is a petty cash, and then we can go to regions. We already handled currencies, so we go to regions. Now regions it's just a way to classify with the various regions and locations that the church as a branch deals with. So you might have a church in a location A, but the location deals with other locations as well. So you can use these regions and branches to create that. So I'm going to create something like Accra. There's no geofence, I'll leave that. I'll create something like Tema. If you want to put geofence in there, you can do that. Then you have chart of account. So in the next video, we'll pick it up from there, chart of account, and then we'll continue.